April has been a lovely sunny and warm month, with temperatures rising to 28 degrees Celsius. It is peak tulip season. With the backlight of the sun, they look like twinkling little lights, floating above the garden, gently waving on the wind, creating a little magical world in my garden. It is a variety named Hakun, but there are a lot more varieties that look quite similar. I think they look absolutely magnificent, and I want to add a lot more of them for next year. I absolutely adore this time of the year, and I wish they could stay a little bit longer, but with the warm weather they only last 2 weeks. I will leave them in the soil and hope they will come back next year to enchant me with their magic a second time. Most of the daffodils have finished flowering, except this late flowering variety named White Marvel. It has these lovely double creamy white flowers with a light scent. It has multiple flowers on a stem. They're very pretty, but they do need staking. April has also been a very busy month. It is the time of the year that lots of seedlings need to be pricked out and potted on, when it is too warm to keep them indoors and too cold to plant them outside. Every morning I place them outside, and every evening they go back in the house, the polytunnel or garage, depending on how much space they need. These are the zinnias that I've sown 3 to 4 weeks ago, and they've done incredibly well. Most of them germinated. The nights are still too cold to plant them out into the garden, so I'm going to pot them on into larger containers. I filmed this in April and realize now that while I'm editing this video, you will see it mid-May. In our country that means that there's no risk of frost anymore, and tender plants, seedlings and dahlias can be planted out into the garden. I'm going to start with this one. I've prepared some compost, I've mixed in some sand for drainage, and I'm just going to flip them over. And I've sown 4 seeds in a pot, so I can easily divide them by just breaking it up. Giving me 4 individual plants. So I'm using these plastic containers, put in a little bit of compost, and then I take a plant, pop it in here, and fill around with some compost. Give it a little shake, and then gently firming it in. These are containers in which I bought my violas that I'm reusing to pot on my seedlings. Over the years I've collected a lot of these plastic containers, in which plants come when you buy them at a garden center or nursery. I reuse them not only for my seedlings, but also to pot on spring bulbs, dahlias and annuals. Let's get these out of the way. And I immediately going to water them because it's quite sunny and warm. And I will place them in the shade. Zinnias come in many different colors and are an excellent cut flower with a very long vase life. I've sown 9 different varieties, and with around 10 plants per variety, I have way too many seedlings and I'm not sure where to plant them all. I'll use most of them in the borders between other plants. If I can't find a spot, I might plant a few to use as cut flowers. If you want to know what varieties I grow, please check out a previous video that I made when sowing my seeds, where I show you all the varieties that I've sown. I've chosen a variety of pinks, apricots, lime green and whites with a splash of dark red. Zinnias are quite easy to grow as long as it doesn't get too cold or too wet. Last year was a very bad year for growing zinnias. Mine all got fungal diseases and many died because of the wet weather. And while I'll continue pricking out zinnias, you can have a look in my garden. My snapdragons have been growing a little bit too long in these small seed trays, so they desperately need to be potted on. Snapdragons don't mind cold weather, so they can also be planted out into the garden. I choose not to, and that is because when I'm planting my borders, I always put in the dahlias first and plant the annuals around them. Unfortunately, my dahlias are growing very slowly, even though I already potted them on in March. I don't expect my snapdragons to stay in the containers for a long time, so I'm using a very small size container. I'm growing 4 different varieties of snapdragons in pinks, apricots and whites. I've sown 2 seeds in a module, and as you can see, not all of them germinated. I divide the ones that do have 2 seedlings. To get more flowers and a bushy growth, it is a good idea to pinch out the top, just above the second true leaf. I haven't pinched mine before and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that this year, until tiny little beetles made the decision for me. They ate the top growth. I'm not sure what they are. They are very tiny and look like fleas. If anyone knows what they are and how to get rid of them, please let me know in the comments. With the warm weather, it is time to plant out my butter lettuce that has already grown into lovely big plants. I'm planting them quite close together, but giving them just enough space to form some lovely crops. I will cover them with a bit of fleece so that their leaves don't get scorched by the sun. Now all I have to do is water them and keep watering them regularly. And within a couple of weeks I will be able to harvest the first lettuce and make a lovely salad. And with April coming to an end, spring bulb season comes to an end as well. Let's enjoy the last few images of the daffodils and tulips. I hope it gives you some inspiration for your own garden. April has been mostly sunny and dry, but there were a few cloudy days and a heavy rain shower brought some much needed water in the garden. Finally, we have to say goodbye to the Acropolis daffodils, letting them store their energy for next year's display. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will end this video with a few bloopers. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos. Hope to see you next time. These are the zinnias, the 3 to 4 weeks ago. Noise need to be potted on. Geen idee. That I've sown 3 to 4 weeks ago. And they've done blah. En zinnia don't like to get. Ik weet niet wat ze willen. And they desperately need to. Hey, dat was goed. Finally. Let's do it one more time.